The Valley Current.
There we go.
Look at you. You're looking very young. You're looking extremely young. You've been rejuvenated.
Well, you hang out with 20 kids with all their adrenaline, you better get rejuvenated.
Average age is about 17, right?
No,
18.
average age is around 23.
Wow. Look at you.
They're all legal. They're all legal, Jack.
3X. It's amazing. 3X.
No, they're all legal.
Oh, maybe you're a little older than 69. Maybe you're a little older than 69.
That's funny. Not touch.
That's funny. You look like you're in your 50s, man. It's working for you.
Well, it is. It is. Believe it or not, my mind is becoming sharper instead of duller.
That's beautiful.
That's
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was really having a hell of a time when I went to Europe. All the stress was building and stuff, and my brain was slowing down. I ended up in London alone. My friends had gone off for some birthday honeymoon thing, and I was terrified to get in the metro. I thought I'd never get out of the son of a bitch. I couldn't remember where I got on.
And you forgot your umbrella. On top of everything else, you forgot your umbrella, right?
That's right.
In London, you got to carry an umbrella at all times.
I know, but I still went by MI6. I still tried to get into James Bond's building, and they wouldn't let me in. They were really rough with me.
That's funny.
I kept insisting I had an appointment.
Even with your dad's credentials?
His credentials didn't quite do it. I've been reading these books that I sent you on.
I saw that, yeah.
The CIA makes so many stuffing mistakes. It's been unbelievable. They called everything wrong, and they've missed it. So I'm glad he wasn't CIA. I'm glad he was OSS and Army intelligence. Very different.
So it looks like you're losing weight there too. Is that because of the diet or what? Or are you working in the fields?
No, I'm hiking like a crazy guy. Tomorrow morning I got to hike about 2 miles to go to a school to set up a school garden.
Nice.
Which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
The last week I was doing mushroom oysters for a bunch of little ladies.
Nice.
And now I've got to start to get my own projects going. But last week was cool because I think I resolved one of the big issues I have, trying to overachieve stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got this one guy from the Navy, and he just says, would you just roll with it? Just chill. Just chill. You got 2 years to just chill. So why do you want to go become an overachiever again? You've already done that. You've done your career.
That's probably good coaching advice.
It was.
Seriously.
And I touched base with a couple people back in headquarters, and I said, you keep asking us how we're doing. How do we feel? Do you feel good? And I said, no. The shoe's on the other foot. I'm here now for this week of training and touchy-feely. Now, what do you see? You guys are experts in this. You're seeing, 25 or 30 people going through here every 4 months.
Right.
And then you've got to monitor them in the field and hope they don't slip through the cracks or quit or whatever.
Right.
So what do you see? And they were actually pretty cool. They said, when you first came on, Chris, you were just really a bundle of energy and really wanted to get things done. And we can see you starting to roll with it and recognizing that you now have an opportunity to do whatever you want.
It's nice.
Yeah. And so this weekend I'm in hammock.
And get paid for it.
So this weekend, while I was boating around the lake and stuff, I found a seamstress, and she made a hammock out of one of the traditional dresses that I bought here. It's a beautiful piece of material.
Right.
She made my hammock. I think I sent it to you.
Wow, you got a hammock going now in your backyard, right?
Well, I got to do what I got to do. I'm getting ready to go back and forth to the lake.
Seriously, you're living a life that you never thought was possible.
That's right.
Am I right?
No, you're right.
You thought it was going to be kind of more of a drudgery, but it sounds like it's really an experience.
No, it's been great fun. I mean, the lake, we're swimming in this lake, okay? Right. It's a big lake, Lake Atitlan.
Right.
And we're all swimming out to this wooden tower whereby the local village has a pipe and a well, and they're sucking water out of the lake that goes up into a big reservoir and tanks above their village. That's their municipal water. So
that's about 2 hours west of Guatemala City, roughly?
No. Lake Antigua is a good 6 hours west of Antigua.
Okay.
It's a
And
big lake. It's surrounded by volcanoes. I'll send you some pictures. It's gorgeous.
and Antigua is kind of a magical city as well, right? Isn't it on the heritage list?
Yes,
Antigua.
it is. It became the capital for the Spanish, so it's a traditional colonial village, with a cobblestone streets and the church and the square and a fabulous museum with all the history of what went on. They did start out in Ciudad Vieja, but a big earthquake and volcano eruption wiped it out. So they moved it to Antigua, and so it's a beautiful spot. It's also reputed to be the origin of the Haas avocado, even though
Okay.
there's a guy by the name of David Haas at UC Davis that claims that they invented it back in the 40s. Anyway,
Right.
you got to do a deep dive. You never who's right, right?
But the avocado is pretty good to eat, right?
Oh, we had 2 boxes of it this weekend. And I
Wow.
was the chef. I was cooking all the chicken because, these kids, they just don't get it, right? We ended up with 10 days in headquarters to go through this old, check our adjustment. Are we feeling vulnerable? Are we feeling confident?
You're doing what's called team EQ, emotional
There you,
intelligence.
there you
Team
go.
team EQ, team IQ, team HQ. These are
No.
like the seven essences, but for teams, Everyone's got to check in and support each other.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
new model. That's the
Oh
new
yeah.
model.
Oh yeah.
These kids must think you're in your like 40s, right?
Well, they're pretty cool. They are
Yeah.
a bit abusive. I mean, I told them I'll see you guys later. They all went straight to the lake, and I said I'm going to go visit a friend on Toto Nicopan, and drop off all my excess luggage. So I'm just going to travel to the lake with my bathing suit. I don't have to drag all of the
Nice.
dress up clothes and the books and all the stuff that we got at
Right.
headquarters.
Right.
So I get tagged. Where are you, Chris? Well, I'm just arriving in Panachel, which is a big city there. And
You're
they go,
getting
well,
tagged. You're getting tagged on WhatsApp or on what?
yeah, on WhatsApp. They just say, where are you?
Yeah.
They're worried about me. Where are you?
Right.
They said, that's what I thought. No, they sent me the shopping list. They said since
They put
they
put you
had
to
so
work.
much luggage, they got on this boat with 16 people. They go to this Airbnb way out on the other side of the lake, and there's no food in the house, and there's no markets nearby.
I can't
So
even believe
Chris,
there's Airbnb. I can't even believe there's Airbnb there. That's
oh, there's
amazing.
tons of them. There's tons of them. You guys
What's
got
the
to come
price?
down. There's some.
What's the pricing to take over a house on the lake? It must be pretty expensive, right?
No, I'm at $50 a night.
Really? Well,
Yeah. I'm
all right.
organizing one. I'm hoping
Mm,
my kids are going to come up and visit. So I've been looking for some nice houses. They've got
nice.
some just simple 1 and 2 bedroom houses. They've got one with a hot tub, which I'm definitely going for.
Okay.
And it's her. The owner is a gal from Georgetown University. I don't know her very well, but that's her bio. And there's another one from some guy in Seattle. So I'm going for a couple of American ones because the ones you rent locally are pretty trashed up. They're party houses.
So you get time off to do this
Yeah.
stuff, even though you're technically a federal worker working
Well,
for the Peace Corps,
yeah,
right?
but no, our seminar ended on Thursday morning,
Right.
and we had to get on a bus and we're supposed to go home. Several of us did have to work on Friday, but I got a really cool work group, and I just said, listen, I'll come into the greenhouse at 6 a.m. next Friday and do the extra hours. And they said, okay, cool. And as a matter of fact, I went to the greenhouse today because we're counting the number of broccoli, cauliflower, and alfalfa seedlings that we're going to start to distribute to some of the poor folks around here in 20 days when they come to maturity and are ready for distribution. So we
Nice.
work it out. I mean, I'm expected to do 40 hours to 45 hours a week. We've just now been getting all of our reporting templates because we have to report to headquarters, and headquarters reports to Congress.
Yeah,
So
you're like in the army. You're like in
it's
the
like the
army.
army.
Yes, it's
They
like the army.
tabulate it all.
Right.
But it's so funny because we're sharing all these spycraft books, right?
Right.
The spycraft stuff comes through. They had one of these assessment exercises,
Right.
which is right out of the spycraft.
Right.
Just let's see what you do. Let's see you do it when in a weird situation. Let's see how
Right.
you handle stuff. So it's all
Right.
spycraft training.
They're
It's
getting you.
amazing.
They're getting you ready, man. You're going to get some orders at some point. You're going to
I
get some
hope.
orders, Chris. It's going to
Maybe so.
happen.
Maybe so. I think I found my handler. I got a gal that makes juice down the street for me. I want her to be my handler.
Right.
I took her down. I vaccinated all her chickens at her house up in the villages.
What, with feed or with what? What's the
Vaccinated with
really
needles. Yeah,
injections?
injection.
You
Yeah,
injected chickens? Live chickens?
I've vaccinated over 2,000 birds in the last 2 weeks.
Can't believe it. You got pictures of that? That's
Shit,
amazing.
yes, I'll send you pictures.
Shit, man, you're gonna have people falling in love with you. You're like the bird whisperer.
Well,
Seriously.
I hope I'd rather be the horse whisperer, please, not a bird whisperer. But anyway, I went up to her house. You'll love this, Jack. So she's wearing traje. She's in the traditional outfits, right? She's got
Right.
3 or 4 kids. Her mom and she run a little juice shop right
Right.
there on the corner of the street. So I'm always getting fresh squeezed orange juice, or I can bring them my turmeric and my ginger, and they grind that up with beets and carrots and all kinds. So I got great fresh juice coming from her. And so I learned that she has birds at her other house. So I say,
Right.
well, what do you mean? Well, we live in town because we have to run our store here and stuff like that. But I've got chickens at my house up in the village. And I go, okay, fine. So I say, well, let's go up and vaccinate your birds. So we
Wow.
take this tuk-tuk, which is a little three-wheel motorcycle. We
Right.
go way up into this Shangri-La of a valley with a gorgeous view all the way to Mexico. We're up at 8,000, 9,000 feet.
All the way to Mexico. Wow.
I can see Mexico from where I am. Absolutely.
Wow.
We're way up north.
Mm.
So I walk down to her house, and as I get closer and closer to her house, the more isolated it becomes. It's absolutely Shangri-La, Jack. She's got a house with no one living in it, with all her chickens, and now she's planting all these plants that I've been giving her because I've got lots of seeds. So we're
Right.
germinating the seeds, and I'm giving them to her. She shows me all the seeds that she's got around her house, and all of a sudden she starts to get really glowing. She's really proud of herself. And I'm looking around, and everywhere I look, it's just gorgeous forest and corn. We're totally alone.
She trusts you.
Yeah, vaccinating birds. So that's cool.
She trusts
So,
you.
Yep.
How old is
So,
she?
She's probably around 40, maybe 35. Oh, no, she's at least, yeah, she's around 30. Absolutely.
And where's
But
the husband?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that far. I don't ask questions. He's not around. He's not around.
You're a mild-mannered reporter. You're there to spread the good
That's right.
U.S. goodwill.
That's right. But listen, it's such a small village. I can't do anything. I mean, I'd love to hang out with her, but the gossip would ruin her. So I have to be very, very professional. And I am.
What's the drug situation there?
I wish there was.
Any marijuana or anything like that?
Oh, we just got a note from the Director General saying there's been reports of marijuana being used by the volunteers.
Whoa.
Please remember, this is cause for COS, close of service. You get shipped home.
Is that locally grown stuff?
I don't know. It's not prevalent. I haven't smelled it at all.
Right.
This is nothing like Santa Barbara or Portland. I mean, you don't
Right.
smell it. It's not around.
Right.
And people don't talk about it. There's no Bob Marley posters. I think it's kind of like the way Colombia was, you know. All you gringos going after drugs have caused our civil war. And
Yeah.
then your bastard people have come down with the military to accelerate and put gasoline on the fire. So we don't want drugs here. Drugs are completely verboten. And I
Right.
think for the Peace Corps, the reputation of the Peace Corps, they really are careful to maintain it. So and there's rumors of drug use, and I think they've got a couple of ratones who are talking about how it's being used at parties. And I think the volunteers are probably using it. I mean, they roll their own cigarettes, and I smoked one of the cigarettes they rolled, and it wasn't marijuana. So I don't know where they're smoking it, but there's a lot of kids running around. There's 200 kids running around Guatemala right now, all Peace Corps.
Right.
I'm only one group.
Did they cut? I know they cut USAID. Did they cut the Peace Corps too? The budget?
They've tried. The Doge people came in and scared the shit out of the folks in Washington.
Right.
But they've only closed offices in Africa. But
Okay.
I understand that anyone would have closed them if you took a hard look at them because there weren't enough volunteers because it's a real hardship post.
Right.
They've been trying to get volunteers to go there by offering a $20,000 incentive fee.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to go?
No. I'd only do it. I'd only do it with you. That's for sure. It'd be a fun trip.
All
It'd be a
right.
super fun trip. But
Well,
you're gonna make it back to the States at some point, right? You're gonna make it back to Mexico. You know, I've got this free pass to be in the October Bisbee tournament for marlin fishing. You're welcome to join. It's in October.
no.
Can't do it, right?
Well, I'm only
You're
allowed to
locked
take.
down.
I'm only allowed to take vacation like early next year.
Mhm.
But I think I might have to go see my mom because things are getting a little tricky with her. She sent an SOS from us to us from from the hospital, and
Okay.
that freaked us all out because one of us was off in, you know, Guyana and another one's in Tunisia, and I'm here in Guatemala. But it turns out she just was pissed off she didn't have a ride, so she hit the panic button.
Yeah, you're responsible still.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I might be going to Europe after my 2 year hitch, unless things with my mom are changing. I mean, my son's inviting me up to Montana. They're up riding horses and pack horses into some lake and stuff. I don't know. A lot of the kids are getting ready to apply for jobs. Yale apparently has a good program where there's a subsidy out of Peace Corps, and by being a Peace Corps graduate, you get on their short list.
You're going to take some courses at Yale in Connecticut?
I might go for a doctorate.
Well, good for you. That'd be fun, but probably
Well,
expensive, no?
no, I'm telling you, the Peace Corps picks up half the tab.
Really?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I don't think that's well published.
No, it isn't. No, it
Yeah.
isn't. Not at all. Unfortunately, it isn't. Now, it's one of the few schools that picks up half the tab for. The others, it's only 25% and stuff. And the tuition is huge in some of these other schools. I mean, forget it.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm looking for a program maybe in Spain or Italy, and I'll just go take the program there. Spain.
Oh, you mean find an advisor at Yale and
Yeah,
or
go
like
go
find
into one of their programs. It could be Spanish literature or Spanish philosophy. I don't know, something like that. I'm sure they've got something like that. And then you spend 2 or 3 of your semesters in Spain, and you do your master's or your thesis or whatever you have to do in Europe. They're going to get you the visa.
But you get the degree from Yale.
Yeah,
Like. You get the degree from Yale.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll boost my earnings. So when I'm 80, I can really knock it out of the park.
Do you have a 529 plan to cover all the incidentals? Hey, you got to spend the money at some point, right?
I do.
You got to spend the money at some point.
If it ever closes, do you know that this deal has not closed yet?
It doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. Why does it not surprise me? I can't believe it. Are you taking a lot of heat over that from your former
Virginia's
missus?
threatening to withdraw, and I said, okay, but I mean, we could go after the $40,000, but it's going to go to a judge in Mexico, and he'll decide who gets it.
Right.
And do you want to wait for all of that? But I told her, listen.
But why are they back? Why are they backing out? Did they find an underground tank there or something?
No, I think maybe they're just making it so miserable for us that we back out.
Oh.
And then, I think that's the key.
But they like the price. I mean, you like the price and they like the price.
Yeah,
right?
but the prices are going up in Todos,
Are they?
Yes, and Virginia's been sending.
I tell you, the prices in the U.S. are going down because people are like, you know what people are saying in the U.S., and I've talked to a lot of people, the insurance companies are going out of business from all the climate change stuff that's playing out, all these storms that are causing damage. And people aren't buying, they're renting because they're like, we can't afford the insurance. The monthly insurance bill's too high.
Wow.
Like think about that. The houses in the Florida market in particular are staying on the market. Used to be like 30 days max. It's like 180 days. They're auctioning stuff off. People want to get out before the next round of storms occur. It's like shocking what's happening. And there are many people. I just talked to a woman today. She and her daughter want to move to Italy because they got like a really low cost house in Sicily that they have to fix up. apparently Italy gives this stuff away if you're willing to pay the taxes and do a bunch of stuff, and then you have to
live there
it.
for 15 years.
Yeah, but they want to live there. She's like 70. She wants to basically live there, and her daughter wants to live there. This is like a reaction to Trump, I think.
Yeah.
And they can't sell their houses. The hitch is they bought this place for peanuts. They own it. They want to get construction started. They want to move into whatever room they can move into while the construction goes on.
But they can't sell.
They can't sell, and they're not cutting their price. I said, just keep cutting your price. Someone will pick it up as an investment. They're like, no, I've had this house. It's great, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it'll sell at a certain price, but they're like, there's a lot of research on this. When people buy a house, there's a lot of research throughout the U.S. When people buy a house, they never expect to lose money on a house. Like they pay whatever they pay. Let's say they buy something like my parents bought in Brooklyn for $7,000. They don't understand the market changes, right? But if they couldn't get that $7,000 when they decided to sell it, they just keep it and live there and not move on. Even if they wanted to move to Florida, even if they wanted to move out of New York, because they always thought New York taxes are way too high. And there's a lot of research that says that's the mindset of owners. They don't expect to lose money. In fact, they actually do expect to make roughly 5 to 7% per year. Sure. And so when you have a house for 20 years, right? And the mortgage is mostly paid off, 30 years the mortgage is paid off, you expect there to be like a very nice gain. But if things change, particularly some of this beachfront stuff that's getting whacked by insurance that doesn't cover stuff, you may just have dirt. That's what you may have, and maybe not that much dirt.
I think you're right. I think about 15 or 20 years ago, there was what was there? I can't remember what it was. There was a hurricane or something. But the pundits were saying, this is our first climate change related disaster.
Right.
This is not just a seasonal storm.
Right.
And what's going to happen is that the cost of insurance is going to make the cost of business all over the world much more expensive.
Right.
And become a brake on economies and all that. They predicted that, and that was 20 years ago. But,
it's playing out, Chris. It's playing out. In fact, what's also playing out is the backup insurance to the insurance companies, which is like a government program, that may fail as well.
The reinsurance.
The reinsurance may fail as well. Like you could argue that Buffett has taken steps to create greater liquidity for Hathaway, for Berkshire Hathaway.
Sure.
And it may be because he's just anticipating that the insurance business is going to get whacked.
Well, I talked to a good friend of mine. He used to be in charge of all the agricultural insurance. Actually had an office in the White House.
Right.
Bush.
Yeah.
And I made him, when he was at ICA, I said, all right, I want you to go down to Latin America and try and get some agricultural insurance going for farmers through Latin America. And it's a bitch. I mean, we're selling insurance for the Guatemalan government here. That was my job when I first joined. They said, okay, Chris, you're going to go to these farms and take your phone and you're going to input all the information right there at their farm. So the GPS location is there.
Right.
And you're going to sell them flood and drought insurance. And I turned to my socios, my partners in the MAGA, the ministry, and I go, there's no floods and there's no droughts in this region. We had hailstorms 2 weeks ago. The reason I got really sick for a month because the weather changed and it was blowing like shit here, and we had hailstorms wiping out all the corn. But of course, MAGA, the federal government down here, is selling insurance, but not for risks that anybody has. It's just criminal. It's the same as in the States. They sell you insurance and you're never going to get it. Should have got insurance on my boat, but my dumb ass, I didn't think I'd be able to collect on it. A lot of the people didn't collect.
It would have probably been hard, right? Because they reevaluate.
It was. The guys, when I talked to the guys, I got the quotes. It would have been $7,000, and they said, you got to go out and do another survey on your boat. That's going to cost another $1,000. And then, your boat's old, and so you might get 10 or 12. And I go, but the boat is valued at 55. And it's worth 80 in the States without any equipment on it. Anyway, I was all set to do it. But then I realized that most of the fuckers didn't get paid out.
Right.
There was always something wrong. Your appraisal's too low, whatever. But
it's
going
a
back to the
tricky.
house, a friend of mine, he's an Indian from Oklahoma. He's in our Peace Corps group.
Right.
He's a Choctaw or something. His
Yeah.
mother just sold their land in Oklahoma, and they're moving to Costa Rica.
Wow.
My
Yep.
house that I built a house. The land was 100. I built the house for 250. I had like 350 or four in it.
Yeah.
And then we're doing my divorce. My wife sold it for $1 million and ran off with the money. Wonderful women.
Wait a minute. This is your first wife, you mean, right?
First wife, yeah.
Yeah. God, the
And
memoir is
then
going to
and
be
then
memoir is going to be very rich. Just going through all these women,
uh,
all these women.
yeah. And so anyway, the guy that bought it flipped the house 6 months later for 2 million. So my first wife had no idea what it was worth, sold it for $1 million. The guy flipped it for 2 million. Then these people had it on the market about 5-6 years ago for 3.5 or almost 4 million. They couldn't get the price. Now it's on the market for 1.4.
Wow.
And I'll bet you my ex could buy it for 1.2.
But
She should sell all her shitty apartments in Colorado and Arizona and buy a house down in Costa Rica and go live in it.
yeah,
Find some gardener that's well hung and she'd be happy.
most people are not as flexible as you, Chris. That's actually a big asset that you have. Most people would never turn on the dime, leave beautiful Todos Santos, join the Peace Corps, go to Guatemala, get trained. I can't. Well, all the application stuff you had to do, all the shots you had to take, all the physical exams. I mean, look, you're probably the oldest member of the Peace Corps as things stand right now. I bet you
I
are.
think so. I think
bet
so.
you are. I bet
They
you
they
are.
just
And
hooked me up with a guy.
I bet
They
you're
just
the
hooked
most
me up with a
experienced. You're the most experienced in the agricultural supply chain, like right from the beginning to the end. You're actually living kind of a reverse approach where you were like at the top of the heap and now you're down in the field, but you understand how the rest of this stuff works. That's like an amazing distinction. That's like 1 in 300 million people in the US.
Well, maybe
Literally,
I
you're
should
like
look at
one
statistics.
person in 330 million people in the US doing this.
I,
Seriously.
I got this guy in my office to start packaging coffee out of San Marcos, organic coffee, and I sold it all at the Peace Corps headquarters last week.
Yeah, what'd you get for it?
I'm only
$5 a
getting
pound?
I'm only getting about $10 a pound, but that's a
Yeah,
good price to start out. I said,
that's a good price.
let's work on the labeling and it's good coffee. I've even started drinking coffee, which I don't do.
Who's the brand? What's the brand? What's the
No,
name
no,
on
it's
the?
just we've been getting organic coffee out of San Marcos, which is Highland coffee. It's
Right.
organic.
Right,
We've been having a little trouble roasting it to get the quality in the roasting,
right.
but I'm on it. And then I just ordered a whole bunch of beautiful coffee makers out of the U.S. that are coming down this week. There's all these revolutionary coffee makers where you can almost do a cappuccino on a camping trip.
Really?
You've got nice filters and it's air pressure.
What do you
I'll send
do? You order that? You order that on Amazon, or how do you get it?
Yeah, well, like one of the girls here in my town, Katie Rice, she went to the States and she sent us a note saying, "What would you like it to bring?" And everyone said, "Bring me chocolate, bring me this and that." And I said, "Bring me this blender for smoothies, portable, battery-driven, rechargeable
Yeah.
blender. It works also to grind up coffee." And then I'll send you. They got these revolutionary coffee things that are really made for campers, where you pressure the coffee through, and it's like an espresso maker, but without the gizmos.
You may get stopped at the border saying she's an importer that's importing goods for resale. You don't
Not
you know,
yet.
you don't believe these people actually pay attention. But when the goods are in packages and it looks like they're ready to be
No,
resold, no,
I already told her take it
yeah.
all out of the packaging.
Take it out of the
I don't want.
packages.
I said, get rid of the packaging and it'll be great because the camping thing, it's literally the size of the grinder blenders like this and the
Right.
coffee makers like that.
Right. So when you did the hike up 9,000 feet,
Yeah.
did you do that like in one trek, or did you break that up? How did you do it?
The hikes I do here,
Yeah, when you did the one that got you up 9,000 feet where you could see Mexico.
oh,
You
well,
were
that's,
you were way up, right?
Yeah, that I do. I can do daily. I can do that daily.
Really? But that's got
Yeah,
to be like 4 hours, right? Five
and I got
hours?
my machete and everything.
Wow,
No,
machete.
but I'm at 8,500 feet in my house.
Oh, okay. I got it. All right.
That's
Yeah.
why when I talk about hailstorms, I freeze my ass off. I've got to wear a parka to bed. But one of my other girlfriends bought me an electric blanket. I now have an
Wow.
electric fucking blanket.
Wow.
I'm going to also send you, besides the coffee this weekend, I made my first prototype hammock.
Hmm.
I'm going
Yep.
to go into the hammock business and start exporting hammocks made out of the traditional woven material that these women wear in their dresses. You can buy it for dirt cheap, and it takes them a year to weave it. You can buy
Hmm.
it for nothing. Unbelievable.
So, so,
They're
so,
called
when,
wapils.
so,
Wapil.
so when
But you
you
have to
look,
understand something. The
yeah,
reason they're so rare and the reason they're going to be worth a lot of money is because the women, when they die, they take it with them.
right. Yeah.
I've never known anybody going to sleep in their outfit that they wore all their life.
Yeah. That probably gets them to heaven. Seriously,
I
that probably
guess.
gets them to heaven. But when you look at your memoir now, because you started as the traditional
Right.
business person who
Right.
really understood and learned and became an expert on the way financing works for agriculture. And now you're really kind of doing your own thing for the Peace Corps, probably at minimum wage when you really look at what all the hours are that you're putting in, but it's for the experience. Do you think to yourself, I could never have predicted that I would do this? I could never have predicted that I would land in Guatemala helping this agricultural community with producing more food, right? That's really what you're doing, right? Aren't you?
No,
Net
no,
net,
you're right. You're
net
absolutely
net.
right. I never would have predicted it. I think actually last summer when I went to Sweden and sailed from Stockholm to Copenhagen,
Yeah, on your boat.
and Virginia was obviously no, not on. This was up in this was in Sweden.
Okay,
I joined a friend of mine. We'd known each other for 30 years. He's a Sea
right,
Scout and so on.
right.
And it became obvious to me that Virginia was no longer interested in me. You know, I heard a lot.
Yeah.
I just,
Ouch.
but ouch, she just not interested anymore. I wasn't. I guess, like she said, you know, Chris, you haven't done anything to take care of me after you're dead.
Yeah. I got to remember that line. That line is good. That line is good. But you know,
Because
that's a cultural thing.
I
That's a
know
cultural thing.
it has to be. It
Seriously.
has to be.
You
No, but I
decided
was
to have
asking. I
a
said,
beautiful
"Listen,
Brazilian
listen. I got
woman
this.
and you have
I've
to
got
live with
this
the
great
cultural
book
thing.
here. It's called The Joy of Sex. Let's get some oil and let's get some candles and let's get in the
But you
teepee and
didn't
let's,
build the pool. You didn't
let's
build
do
the
some woo
pool.
woo. I'll
You
give you a
you didn't
massage." And
build the
then she just,
pool.
but and I thought she was going through a phase. I thought menopause or something. And but no, she just all of a sudden it just the door shut and the legs crossed.
But you didn't build the pool. You didn't build the pool.
Well, true, but I kept saying, "Let's build the pool." She said, "No, let's do the hot tub first. We don't know how it's going to work, and the hot
Oh
tub's going to be
man,
cheaper."
it was a good hot tub. The hot tub's nice.
No, it was a
Seriously.
huge mistake. I should have said, "Fuck it, we build the pool, we're done, and if we need to repair it or whatever, we'll do that." But
So
she couldn't
so
figure out where to put it. I was going
so
nuts.
is the hot tub on her side of the property or on
Yeah,
your side of the
no,
property?
no, it's hers. It's
Her
hers.
side of the property. Is
Yeah,
she
yeah.
selling her side of the property or you're just selling your side of the property?
I don't know, because I told her when this deal with the neighbors was slowing down, I said, "Well,
Right.
Virginia, I always told you we go back to the original program, sell the whole thing
Right.
together. You're going
Right.
to get a much better
Right.
price, and you can go to
Correct.
Brazil and build yourself another
Right.
resort."
Right.
But finally, last week or the week before, she says, "Okay, I think probably what we should do is yank the deal and put it on the market." And I said, "Well, put it on the market." He says, "No, you call Richard Rutowski. Call Richard. I want to put it on the market with him, but find out how much he wants. He thinks that we can sell it for." And I go, "Virginia, he's been to your house twice, 3 times. He's always told you it's over 1.5 million now." And
You're gonna sell both of them together as
yeah,
one big property. Okay.
that's what I was recommending.
Right. But your first deal, your pending deal just sells your side of the property, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm
Correct.
with you. She's
And
staying.
so,
She's apparently staying on her side, right?
well,
Maybe,
all
maybe
she
not.
has is she has poor Tiago over there and the two dogs. It's
Right.
kind of a hopeless situation. I'm getting all these people calling me saying, "Why aren't you paying your internet bill? We have to cancel it." I said, "It's not my bill anymore, Bubby. It's
That's
not my
funny.
bill."
You're completely protected where you are. No one can find you
That's
anywhere. Like
right.
talk about
Absolutely. Absolutely.
talk about freedom. You've got ultimate freedom, man.
I
Seriously,
do. I
really.
do.
So I'm curious. Do you pay attention to the U.S. news at all? The stock market, anything? Do you pay
Uh,
attention to any of this stuff?
I'm only following my gold,
Okay.
which is going great.
Yeah.
Stock price is doubling and stuff. But I have turned off my Rachel Maddow. I just the feeds are too watching this shit with Trump, and I realize that he's going to ace this crap with what's his name anyway.
Right.
Even though the Wall Street Journal's against him and everything, and all of a sudden there's all this stuff's going to happen, and what's his
Oh,
name?
the stuff about the Me Too and all these little young girls that he was with, that sort
Yeah,
of
all
stuff.
this
Yeah.
shit that's flowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now his MAGA crowd wants to investigate it. I enjoy just seeing a couple of those things on Instagram, but I'm not going down the rabbit hole.
So you've got mental freedom as well, because I'll tell you that everything just bombards you
Yeah.
in states. Like every radio channel, every channel always has something. Today, I thought of you for a few minutes today when he was talking about, well, we're going to send some people into Gaza. They're they're going to help with the famines in Gaza. And I thought, I wonder if Chris would have taken that assignment if they said, hey, you got to go into Gaza and try to deal with these starving people. We got to get food distributed there. I said, I don't even think Chris would do that.
That's a battle zone.
That's a battle zone.
The guy I went sailing with from Salem, from Sweden down to Denmark, he went into Kosovo with a blue helmet. He worked for the UN,
Right.
and he went in there as a peacekeeper.
Right.
And I said, Eric, don't go.
Right.
Go. This is crazy.
Right.
This is a hot zone.
Right.
He went. He said, we wear bulletproof vests. We're sitting behind these huge cement deflector blast walls and shit.
Right.
And he did it.
You want to hear a funny story? This is a true story. So I got invited to teach some classes at a business school in Russia.
Oh, cool.
And I was I had a Russian, I think it's still good, a Russian visa, because I have taught years ago some classes at a couple of different business schools, right? In Russia, in Moscow. And I have a lot of friends in Moscow, and they're like normal people. And they talk about, how Putin is a little crazy and whatnot. We won't comment much more about that. But they made this offer to me, and I started talking to some of my friends. They were like, yeah, you don't want to go there. It's kind of becoming a hot zone. And, I want to say the week after I got the offer, that guy from the Wall Street Journal got kidnapped and arrested. That guy that was recently released.
Right.
And they said, You see, we told you, you would have just been grabbed. And they would have said, you're a spy. You're here from America. This is bullshit. You're not really teaching anything.
And then you would just be disappearing out your hotel window. Oops.
Exactly. And you know what? I would not have the Wall Street Journal behind me putting a full page ad saying it's day number 226. I would be locked up somewhere. And people don't realize that governments do crazy shit, really crazy shit. They do. They do all the time.
Look at all this. They got the Everglade prisons going. They're shipping people to the Sudan. I mean, my God, what's going on? Are there going to be any breaks on him at all? Because I haven't seen anybody stand up to him except maybe Gavin Newsom, who, of course, is just a little bit of a limp-wristed son of a bitch. I don't think he's got the balls to carry it through.
No, it's a strange time. I have to tell you, it's not clear to me how the Republicans are going to play this next election. It looks like Vance. I'm guessing that Vance will take over in year 3, maybe year 4. Trump will resign based on, I think he actually is starting to lose. I think he's got a light form of Alzheimer's. When he talks, sometimes he goes off in a crazy direction, like
but he's
crazy.
Done that forever.
But really, it's getting worse. I think it's
unless
getting
he
worse.
talks about pussy, and then he stays on topic.
Right. So I think that they will eventually convince him, look, Vance is going to pardon you. You have to leave. You're going to go. You're going to get pardoned. Vance is going to do that. We're going to put Vance in. We're going to find the right vice president for Vance. And then we're going to run from a position of strength that Vance is actually pretty good as a speaker. He actually is pretty decent.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
And, he gave a podcast recently where he said, look, I converted to Catholicism. I thought this guy is playing out JFK. This is like the new Camelot. I've got these little kids that I'm taking care of. The job is a very difficult job. You got to give Mr. Trump a lot of credit. Like, he's very supportive that Trump is really working hard, and he's working hard. And, it's kind of like a replay of Jack Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy. It's kind of a replay, and they're fashioning it. They're starting to shape it. They're starting to shape.
All right. Well,
they're starting to shape. You're going to see.
I'll try and focus on that.
There's some shaping going on, and the Democrats don't have anything close to that.
Sure.
They don't have a young family with kids. You know what I'm saying? They've got who knows.
Yeah, the only contender the only guy that I thought that they might try and groom is Adam Schiff, but he's bloodied his head.
No,
they bloodied him up on all the investigations.
No. It's like the closest the Democrats have is Pete Buttigieg and his gay spouse, and they've got a couple of kids from surrogates. I mean, there's no way that sells in Middle America. There's no way. There's not. Well, Buttigieg, by the way, does speak 7 languages. Buttigieg is a smart guy. He deserves to have a chance.
Absolutely. But yeah, he's dragging too much baggage. But I was talking to a friend of mine in Washington, and he's a good friend. He's on the board of my gold companies. He's ex-World Bank, IFC, Italian. Used to work graduated Wharton. He went to the big investment banks in Europe after the World Bank. Very smart guy. And he said that basically in the midterms, the Republicans are going to make such a hash out of those elections. There's no way the Democrats are going to win back the House or the Senate.
Really?
He says that they're just going to ask for revotes, that it's illegal, that it's redistricting. They're going to come up with all these reasons to basically invalidate those votes.
Yeah.
Those elections,
Maybe.
And because I was thinking, well, no, when I talk to the Guatemalans down here, I'm kind of amazed. This is something from my memoirs. I go around, I had to give a presentation about my town to the Peace Corps people. Who have I met? What are my first reactions? What are the opportunities? So I did an economic analysis. I looked at the population trends and the things they're looking at. But all of the statistics here in town say that there are more men than women.
No way. No way.
So I'm going everywhere, and I'm going, where are the men? And every once in a while, I'll find some guy, right? And I'll talk to him. And he becomes personable and starts to tell me about how he worked in a slaughterhouse for 10 years in Chicago. And there's his house. Paid for his house. He's got a little car. All 4 of his kids are up there working in the same slaughterhouse, making absolutely the horrible wages.
Right.
He said they're going through 4,000 head an hour or some ridiculous, horrific number. But anyway, and so I go, well, when are your kids coming back? And I said, well, one's been gone 12 years and he's illegal, so he's not coming back. He's married a Mexican woman. She's illegal. So they're living and they got 2 kids. I don't think I'll ever see him again.
They're living where?
In New York.
Oh, they're going to get picked up.
They live in New Jersey, but
they're going to get picked up. They're going to get picked up. They're going to get picked up.
They're all hiding, and they're all saying, they're just going with it. They're not horrified the way we are about ICE and everything. They just say, we're just all in hiding. But you've got almost a schizophrenic society because they leave to make money, and there's $25 billion coming back every year to Guatemala.
Wow.
It's their largest source of foreign exchange.
Wow.
That's how they survive. That's how this country survives.
Wow.
And they say now that the remittances are getting much bigger because people are so afraid up there, so they're sending their money home.
Faster and more, faster and more.
There's more. And there's lots of empty houses that are all built by these people who are still up there working. But my point is, it's schizophrenic in a sense that they have accepted the fact that their families have just split and they may never see them again.
That's what's happening in Dubai with all the Pakistani labor that leaves their families behind to basically build all these ginormous hotels.
But they're on a visa. They're not illegals.
They're legal. They're legal. They're legal.
All right, so they're going to be able to go back.
But they don't. They go once a year. They basically Their
At
work
least they
life
go
is
back
in
once a
Dubai.
year, because here they're not going back because it
Yeah.
costs $20,000 to go to the States from here.
Wow.
20, yeah.
What
Imagine.
is that? The cost of a flight is that much?
No, they go overland with the coyotes. That's what it costs to get
Oh,
a
okay, I get
coyote.
it. Okay, I
That's
see.
the
Okay,
illegal.
yeah. All right. So they're making it they're
Right,
getting in without being under the radar. They have to
right.
be under the radar.
By
Wow.
the way, before we get too carried away, this weekend I decided to write a book. I've been thinking a lot about what you've been suggesting.
Yes, finally.
I know,
It's
but
going to be
and
good.
so
It's going to be
I
good.
yeah, it'll be good. I've got to start to work on getting which voice, I've got to go do some Zoom calls. I mean, some YouTube and find out how to write a book and stuff. But I'd like to kind of go through some of these sessions with you because I think once I get that thing rolling, it'll be very helpful.
I'll send you the files back because you'll find they really are going to spur the stories. And just think of the book as linking. You have at least 1,000 stories. You're going to pick
Sure,
the best. Going to pick the best 100 that
sure,
makes the thematic point
right.
that your father's DNA really is playing out. And the book you have to read that you can tie all this stuff together with is Robert Sapolsky. I'll send you the link. I'll send you
Okay.
the Audible. I think it's in his voice. I'm trying to remember whether it's his voice.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Sapolsky is a biologist at Stanford. He just wrote a book called Determined, Determined, and he argues that everything we do and everything we say from the moment we're born, the moment we receive mother's love and father's love and so on, it creates this imprint that really to some degree prevents 100% full goodwill, not goodwill, free will. You don't have 100% free will. There's something driving you to replay your father's life in the CIA in the manner you're doing. There's something that was baked in when you were like 2 years old.
Sure.
And I saw a version of this. Let me tell you, I saw a version of this. We met this couple. They had a little 2-year-old kid. I happen to have in my pocket, I don't know why, a box with a early stage 1990s handheld video game. And I said to the parents, I said, I'm never going to use this. This is like maybe for your kid when they get to be 5 or 6. This is a gift from me. You can hold it for 3 or 4 years. The kid's only 2. The kid was like, I want to see it now. The kid ripped the package open, I swear. And she put the thing to her. It was just a little Nintendo game with like 2 buttons.
Yeah.
She put the thing to her head. She thought it was a phone. She was emulating her parents' activities on the iPhone. And the parents were like, holy shit, we've imprinted on our child. I said, you have to read Sapolsky's book. That kid has no free will. That kid has to get, that kid's mindset now is to get a phone. She thinks that thing is a phone. She's going to play with it like it's a phone. She's probably going to learn the video games too. And believe me, when she gets to be about 5, she's going to be like wanting the highest powered smartphone that's around because in her head, you guys have emulated for her. Sure. And that's why people who smoke, their kids smoke. I mean, there's lots of examples of this. But when you read that book, you're going to find there's a theme there for you that ties back. And it actually, to some degree, will suggest why certain things played out in other relationships. If you really probe deeply, you're going to figure out, well, what really played out here that created whatever happened with wife 1, wife 2, wife whatever, girlfriend, whatever. And I think Sapolsky's onto something. Now, he's given a couple of debates. By the way, if you look at him on YouTube, you can find him on YouTube. He's debating with all these scholars, and they're, of course, challenging him. Of course, we have free will, blah, blah, blah. He's like this giant, he looks like he's a caveman. He's got the dreadlocks. You look at his beard. I represented him. We filed a suit against Deepak Chopra. It's a really funny story for another time. Chopra stole a bunch of his research. Chopra has made a name for himself.
Sure.
Well, Sapolsky did learn from that case how to make a name for yourself. Like when I look back, I actually called him and I said, you did learn something from that case. Recently I called him. He said, yes, I did. I learned a lot about how to promote books from that case. So
Good.
that book is worth listening to at least or reading.
But if it's Audible, yeah, I'll get it because I do listen to a lot of Audibles.
Yeah,
I've
and
listened
you'll
to these two books on the
yeah,
CIA,
yeah,
and actually one of them refers to one of my dad's good friends. They kept trying to get me to date their daughter. Their
yeah,
daughter was wild.
yeah,
The other son got into a whole bunch of drugs, but he did write a book about my father, the spy,
yeah.
and it became a bestseller. And I'll have to look it up because I'm now
Oh,
going to think about writing the book.
you're gonna write it from that perspective. You're gonna
No,
write
I
it
don't
from
think so because he was early stage. He was a spy, but it was
right,
for Army intelligence, and that was different from CIA. But I
right,
did find an excerpt in one of those books that I sent you that talked about how Henry Cabot Lodge outed
right.
him, outed him in Saigon because he was too ambitious, and Richardson was the head of the CIA office there. He was the master spook. And then after the guy outed him so that he could no longer, it ruined his career. Then Henry Cabot Lodge moved into his house, took his big, beautiful house.
Wow.
Anyway,
I just sent you in the chat. You can copy it
okay.
and paste it, the Audible link that
Oh,
gets
cool.
you to Sapolsky's book. In a way, Sapolsky is in an area that is controversial because he actually is also a paid expert dealing with cases that involve like teenagers that get into criminal trouble. And he
Uh-huh.
tries to explain, well, they really didn't have free will. The kid was beat up by his mom or his dad or whatever. Like
Right, right,
he's made
right.
a little bit of a consulting business out of it. But he is a genuine biologist and he does do a lot of very deep research and he is a very, very interesting guy. And the book is well done.
Good.
You will enjoy, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And I think there's something that tells me it's going to play a role in how you think about the things the choices that you've made and how you made those choices. I think it is going to play that out for you
Well,
in one
good.
form or another.
Good, because I'm still in that stage where everyone agrees you're still in this adjustment stage, Chris. You're only
Yeah.
4 months here, and
Yeah.
you're adjusting to the fact that your whole life has changed.
Right.
It's not like I'm a 23-year-old where okay, I'm on another adventure, and their hormones driving them.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got something else driving me, and I still don't know exactly what it is, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
you'll get to it. You'll get
We'll
to it.
get there.
I'll send you the transcript from this. I'm sure it'll spark ideas. And what you want to learn, what you want to do for this book is go to Google. Are you using Google for your Gmail and
Yeah,
all that jazz?
yeah, yeah.
So there's a Google app that's called Notebook LM, NOTEBOOK LM. It's for a language model. It
Okay.
creates a local knowledge base. Just throw all your information into that knowledge base,
Okay.
and that will act as your local brain
Right.
on everything that you're doing, and you'll be able to probe it for facts, for details, for this, for that, put the transcripts, put everything that comes out of this.
Oh, it'll
And
start
you
to
will
work it.
find that Notebook LM will amazingly help you see patterns in some of the data. It'll be like an
Okay.
amazing research assistant, like a and I think it's free. I think there's a version that you could pay for that's a little more high power, but I don't think you need it.
Well, I'll start with that. That sounds good.
Notebook LM is the place to store all this stuff. And
Cool.
what you're
Cool.
going to find is that, hey, I can get a lot of research done pretty quickly based on your knowledge that's going into that database.
Right.
And some people are actually loading like everything they've ever written, everything they've ever said, like they're trying to create like a digital replica so that
Correct.
in the future your grandkids can say, well, what would grandfather Chris have
Chris
to
have to
say
say.
about that? He was in the
Sure.
jungle. Wasn't he living in the jungle for a while? What was he doing there, by the way? Why was he in the jungle? What was that about? Why did he leave that beautiful place,
Tarzan
Todos
swinging from the
Santos?
trees.
Why
Right,
do you,
swinging in the
by the way, is
trees.
there someone living there? Is there someone living on your property other than your ex-wife?
No, she's in Brazil. And I
So,
think she's going to take the proceeds on the sale and buy land in Brazil. That's what she's
wait a
threatening.
minute. Wait, what is the property just empty? Is no one there?
No, there's one of her sons there. Poor old
Okay.
Tiago, poor old lost Tiago. He's got a master's, and he lives in my trailer. I don't know. He's now living in the house, but I wanted that trailer for other purposes.
Right.
And I go in
Right.
there, and he's left these doodles. His mind is mush. He's been on too many drugs. It's just
Wow.
a shame.
So does he live in your cottage, your separate
I don't know. I don't know
plot?
where he is. I don't know.
Wow. And he drives around in your Mercedes? Is that what
No, I
happened?
sold the Mercedes.
Oh, you
I
sold
sold
it?
it.
Where'd you sell it? In Mexico?
Yeah, I found a guy who one of my workers showed up, and I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to sell it." So he got me $3,600 for it, and I only paid two for it.
Yeah, you made money on that.
Well, I
You
gave
made
him
money.
600. I gave him a nice fat commission.
Wow, you're a nice guy. That's
Well, he
huge.
was on the ball. He was on the spot, and I needed to sell it because I didn't want the headache.
Right.
But guess what? I got some bad news. My BMW motorcycle, which I had in a fellow's barn in Paso Robles,
Yeah.
burnt down with a barn.
Ouch.
The guy's barn burned, so my beautiful 2002 BMW motorcycle is gone.
What model was it?
It was a 1200cc cruiser,
Oh,
very
okay.
rare,
Nice.
built in 2002.
So wait a
And
minute.
only
You lost the boat, no insurance. You lost the motorcycle, no insurance. You sold the car. I guess you have total freedom, man. You got you don't have to worry about anything at this point. Seriously.
Well, all I got to do is sell the fucking truck I repossessed from Virginia's boys because they ruined the truck.
Where's the truck?
It's in Paso Robles too.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that'll get sold at some point, or it'll burn down, or it'll get stolen. One or the other.
It's just like the boat story. It's probably good that the motorcycle is gone because I'd probably kill myself on the son of a bitch.
Yeah, right. This is a good story, Chris. You gotta add these chapters, man. Seriously, you gotta add these
No, I
chapters.
was blessed. The universe is looking after me. Otherwise, I'd be out there on the damn boat, running into trouble on some lee shore.
I hope we see you at Christmas. We'll be in Todos in Christmas, but it sounds like you have other plans.
I don't know. I'm hoping my kids come visit me here because there's not much happening. I've got a house. We can go to the lake, and there's beautiful lake. And I'm going to start this hammock business because no one does hammocks here. I'm going to start exporting them to you. You can sell them in Bloody Todos Santos.
There are a lot of hammock sellers down in Todos. I don't know if that's such a good market. San Diego might be better.
No, but these are antique embroidered hammocks. They're going to be antique embroidery.
Send some pictures. I'll do a little market study for you.
I'll send you the prototype.
All right. Hey, take care, Chris. You look great. Everything looks great. You look really
glad
young.
to hear you guys are doing well too.
Everything's good. You look really young. I have to say this was one of the best decisions you ever made. And they should actually teach this in some of this transition stuff, because there are a lot of people like you that go through a transition, whatever, wife dies, something happens, lose their jobs. You've totally turned this into like a beautiful thing.
Well, I got to do what Chip Conley does. I got to charge $10,000 a week for a little seminar.
Oh, you would be good at Chip Conley's thing. You would be good. I should tell Chip about you. I should tell him.
No,
you could be a presenter. You could be a presenter.
Well, actually, the other day I was thinking, and this is something you need to think about as well.
Right.
As we get older, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if our lives were flipped around and we actually started life old like this?
Right.
Our bodies got soreness and we're trying to exercise. And
that's the Brad Pitt film. The Brad Pitt film was Mr. Button. Mr. Button started Mr. Button.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a Brad Pitt film. I'll find it. I'll find the link. There was a Brad Pitt film where he started as an old guy and he got younger and younger over time.
Okay, but in this story, of course, as you get younger, all right, you get through your career and stuff, and then you remember, going through the university, and you remember, first, second wives and things like this, and you see kids and shit. And then you get back to college, and you think about all those fun times and all that beer you used to drink. And then you get to your adolescent, you remember the baseball games, you remember the football games, and then you get back to, being a youngster and you got your first slingshot and your first model airplane, and then you're
Right.
around 4 years old and
Right.
you remember getting spanked by your dad for painting on the walls. And then you get back and all of a sudden you're in the womb and you're floating and you're just going, wow, this is cool. I'm fed. I get to sleep. I'm plugged into all this amniotic fluid. I got love on me every day. And then at the very last thing you remember is an orgasm.
Well, you know what? That plays into the book. That
Okay.
thinking plays into the book because
Okay.
you may be living that moment inside that particular beautiful place in Guatemala at this point. You may be there.
I might be floating there.
You may be floating right now. You may be floating right in
That's
that
right.
space right now.
And then that one last moment is when your dad, mom had that orgasm and you're created.
Well, I think that's what happened to Hulk Hogan, but unfortunately he had a heart attack in the middle of it.
Oh,
Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
died at 71 in Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Oh my.
A couple of days ago. Yeah, apparently it was like three in the morning. I think he was doing something at 3 in the morning and maybe pushed himself a little too hard. It's sad,
That's kind of like what they used to tell Rockefeller, Says he says you're going out with all these young ladies. You're going out. This is dangerous, And he goes, well, why? Well, they could have a heart attack. And he says, well, if she goes, she goes.
Hey, Chris, see, I gotta go. Talk to you later. Take care, man.
All right. Say hello to your beautiful wife.
Tune in next time on The Valley Current.